association and all that, right?
All right, guys. Boise State football head coach Bryan Harsin, 2014 signing day press conference. Coach.
Thank you. All right. I don't know if you guys, what else you need. We had Twitter and all that. You guys have been following it, so I think we had a lot of information out on it. First thing, you know, just the whole day, really proud of our staff, and I'll get more into that, but it's been an exciting day for us. Just with, you know, coming together really on January 6th as a staff and kind of getting everybody in place, and then to where we are now, and getting on the road and having about 3 weeks to get out there and actually get face-to-face and have the contact that you need to build the relationships in a short amount of time, and what we were able to accomplish. Really proud of our staff. We did start our day off pretty exciting today. And get the, I'll show you, we had a little video for you guys here to show you. I don't know if you've seen this or not. You hit the lights, please. We got a couple, make it a little more entertaining here. So this is how our day started. There you go. All right, so there you go. It gives you a little bit better view right there of how the morning with a lot of coffee and donuts and all that. But that was for Alex Ogle, who was officially the first one in, and we're happy about that, being a quarterback. So we got those guys in today. You know, I do want to say a couple things just about some of our other staff members: Blake Baker, Antoine Murray, Brian Wilkinson, Brad Larondo, Danielle Barish, who's been here today with us from compliance, making sure we're doing everything the right way and the guys are all correct as they come in, and all of our support staff as well. Chris Mitchell, who's put together these videos and some things that we've been able to use throughout the recruiting process, has been huge for us. Mark Coyle, Dr. Custra, Kurt Absey, our faculty that helped during our recruiting visits, Max Corbett. You know, so many people go into making all this happen, not just the coaches. And so, you know, letting those guys go out and see some of these student athletes that we're going to bring in and starting to build those relationships was extremely important for us. And I think the one thing you see with the staff, you know, one, I think we got some very good recruiters on this staff. Two, they like to do it. Three, they've got good energy. And really, you know, I didn't quite know this either, but just watching them, you know, I think they connect, you know, with the student athletes. And, you know, I was really impressed just watching, you know, how some of these guys do what they do. And some of the new ideas that they've brought in from other programs on what they did and how they did it was part of, you know, some of the ways we were able to accomplish, you know, getting some of these guys here, you know, so I'm really proud of that. It was fun. It was a fun experience to get to this point. And our weekends, we enjoyed it. You know, we did some different things. I thought that we had a good time and got the information out we needed to get out there. So one of the other things that we did is we've got 4 guys here on campus right now that are early enrolled: Jaron Ertl, A.J. Richardson, Tommy Stewart, and then Dylan Sumner Gardner. All right, so today is National Letter of Intent Day. Everybody's doing their signing parties. Everybody's having that pull the hats and do different things, and it's an exciting day and one that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for these guys. So we did something here. All right, we do have a video for you, so we'll show you that. We hit the lights here. So we had one of our own just for those 4 guys in particular, just so they have that type of moment as well. you go, a little taste of what we did this morning for those guys. And I wanted to make sure, and as a staff, we wanted to make sure they have a chance to kind of have a moment and have the players in here. And then we talked about the guys that we signed, and that way, because a lot of our players, there's 20 guys that helped us out during the recruiting process that were hosts. So our current players are part of this process as well, and so to get them in here and let them be a part of that. You didn't get to see the whole deal. Now those guys had a good time. They had fun with it. They got some character. They had a couple quotes in there that they were ready for. We actually surprised them, I should say, but they came off pretty well on that, and the guys enjoyed it. But really excited about what's going on today, and I think as you look at the class, as far as what the needs were when we came in here, based off of what the previous staff had, and it's close to where we are right now, and what we think we need for our personnel and what we're going to do schematically, I believe we filled that. And the one thing I can say is that the day's not over, all right, and this is the first day to sign, not the last. So things do change here. Things probably for the most part will change at some point today, but we're not done. We're not done. We have 20 current players signed right now, and we have the ability. You still have 5 more initials that you can utilize. We really have the space for 3 at this point, and so there's still some positions that we'll be looking for as well. And some of these guys, just a little bit of history. Troy Bacon, was a guy that was originally committed here. I think Coach Huff did a great job of getting in there and explaining to him, what the new staff, and how we're going to go about things was all about. And that was very important for us. Chase Blakely, Coach Drinkwitz, did a tremendous job with him, and was very proud of Coach Drink. And Chase is a guy that's a local player that's very good, and excited about him. Derek Bowles is a guy coming all the way out from Lakeland, Florida. Coach Caldwell have recruited him. And Antoine Murray, our assistant director of player personnel, is from Lakeland, Florida. So we have another, guy coming from that area. And Antoine's really been the last one to do that. Caleb Hill from Texas. Got a guy from Texas. Xavier Hoxie from Buford, Georgia. Coach Brown did a great job there. David Lucero from Holtville, California. All right, that is a long ways away and hard to get to. And Coach Avalos did a great job there. And David Lucero is a tremendous player, tremendous person, and the first athlete that I've ever known that's raising a pig named Oinkstein. So there's a lot of fun things in that visit. Jeremy McNichols, Coach Riddle did a great job with him, getting in on him, and will play running back for us. Keikoa, local player here from Rocky Mountain, was really fired up what Julius was able to do with him. Alex Ogle, our quarterback, Coach Sanford really worked his tail off in all this quarterback situation, and trying to find the right guys in there with Tommy and with Alex, and we're really excited about Alex. Alex is a guy that we think has done a very good job where he's at in a very young school, and couldn't be more happy to have him here. And then Dylan Sumner Gardner, Coach Yates, doing a great job with him, and Dylan, quite frankly, being excited about playing for Coach Brown and Coach Yates, and having that type of coaching. And so, there's more guys on this list here, but those are some that really stood out throughout this process, and really just appreciate the work that these coaches were able to get done in a short amount of time. So as we continue, recruiting never ends, so that's something, we're still working through this class and then obviously on to the next. And that's just how it is. You're just trying to stay and keep up and keep the momentum going. But the one thing I will say about these guys, when they came here and they're on campus, it's something that I think the feel, and that connection with our staff and with our players, and I think the Boise in general was very powerful. And so, we know we have something here that's as far as the program goes, with the tradition and the history behind it, with the winning, something very powerful with the academics and where we've gone and how well we've done. Was a big part of why these guys were excited about Boise State and what we've been able to accomplish in those areas and where we're going in those areas. And I think the opportunity as well, just with some of the new coaches on staff and the excitement and the vision that these coaches have for these guys played a big part in their commitment here. So couldn't be more happy, fired up for these guys. It's a dream come true. There's not many college football players. There's a lot of high school players, and so this is a small fraternity of guys that get a chance to do this. And we told every one of them to enjoy the moment today, and then we'll get to work tomorrow. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
You guys have embraced a different approach to recruiting and kind of transparency and a little more fun, a little more high energy than maybe the staff that you were on previously here did. Can you talk about the decision to kind of open that up and let maybe more people into that process and why you guys have done that?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't really know what happened in the past. To some degree, I know it was here, but in the recent time, I think it's a combination of our staff and the way that we communicate now, with student athletes, and that's just part of it, And I think it's something that social media is a great way to get your message across in a positive way. And I think that's something that, for us in Boise State in general, we embrace the type of program that we have, and we're proud of it. And I think that's probably part of it, that we want to promote it, and we want to make sure that the message we get out there is exactly how we want to convey the university and our football program in particular. And I think it helps. I think it does help us, and I also think that's part of just the way society is now and the way people communicate and how they get their information. And we've embraced that. We've embraced it with it as a team, with the understanding of all the negatives that can come along with it. And if it's handled properly, it can be a very positive tool.
Basically 31 days to put this class together as a full staff. What kind of impact did that have on your process and what you guys were able to do with this group?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm very proud in the short amount of time of what we did. But recruiting is about relationships, and so basically you're getting into the thick of it now, where things are getting very serious, and here all of a sudden here we come, and the first thing is getting your foot in the door and having a chance to, one, target the type of players we were trying to target. Not just get on any particular player, but the ones we were targeting are good football players, and they're good students, and they're good people. And so these are guys that a lot of people are after, and we want to have our opportunity to get in there and at least have a chance to explain what we're trying to accomplish here academically, athletically, and how we can influence them as people and throughout their lives. So in order to do that in a short amount of time, I think for the prospects it's okay. I think for families that are involved and other people, you've got to be able to get through a lot of different avenues to get that done, and we did that in a short amount of time. I think in some cases, it's sometimes when you do have a change like that, it's guys are in, and that's part of also getting in early, as well in the recruiting process. So it was a battle. It's fun, to see kind of where you are at the same time. I mean, there was so many positives in there. At the same time, you're kind of dealing with, maybe this isn't going to work out, but those are the chances that you take, and that's part of recruiting. And what we were able to do in a short amount of time, and the relationships we were able to build in that short amount of time, and the trust, I think was very good.
Did you have to make quicker decisions in terms of, do we want to offer this kid or that kid than maybe you would if you had a whole year to work on it?
It's funny. I don't think that would have changed anybody who we offered and so on. I really don't. It's like anything else. When you have more time, you probably take more time. And I always felt like in the beginning of the year, when you're game planning for a team, your best game plan usually comes about the fourth or fifth game when you're crunch time and all that, and you're really putting it together. And I think as far as what we did and how we did it, getting the staffs together, staying up here late at night, and getting everybody in a room, offense or defense, or everybody together, and just start popping on tape and watching guys. And then when guys are on the road, everybody on their phones and watching guys and communicating back and forth. And we really had a lot of eyes on these guys that we brought in. So to me, as far as the evaluation went, I mean, I think the process, it happened in a shorter amount of time, but it was done the right way. And so that wouldn't have changed anything. It's just, I think it's the anxiety of not having that extra time to build the relationship and to explain everything. So now you've got to really jump from, A into D here in a hurry and get things going. And hopefully they feel confident enough in what the program has done, to listen to you. And that was one of the things we also, ran into is, Boise State has a name, has a presence, and so that's also something that we were able to utilize to get our foot in the door and get with these guys and build relationships.
There's some recruiting sites that say, Sumner Gardner is the highest rated recruit ever to commit to Boise State. I mean, for him to be the first one, what did that kind of do when he committed as far as, opening things up for the rest of the month? And what do you think adding a player like that, as highly rated as he is, does to kind of send a message to maybe the Mountain West or whoever else about what you guys are trying to do?
Well, I think the one thing is it says we're targeting the right guys. He's a very good football player. He's a very good person, very good student. And as far as the rankings go and all that, I mean, he's a good player. He's all those things. And to me, I think that's I'm not sure it says anything that we don't believe here. We think we have the program that guys want to come to and play, whatever they're ranked. I think Dylan's a guy that really saw the part of it. One, this is a great program with great history and tradition. Two, I can get exactly what I want to get done here academically, and I've got the support, and I've got people in the program, not just the football program, Dr. Custra, all the way from the top down that support that and are excited about the academics and what's happening at Boise State. And then I think the biggest thing, too, is the development. The one thing we don't get to show in the recruiting process is probably the best thing that we do, and that's on the field. And that's coaching. And so you can't take guys out there and coach them and go through it, but your resume is on tape. And when you got a guy like Coach Yates that has been able to accomplish what he's been able to accomplish with the players he's had and the success those players have had, I mean, I think guys look at that. And the bottom line is, he's a very good player, but he also is smart enough to know I need to continue to be developed, all right, if I want to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish as a player. And Coach Yates is the right guy to do that, and Coach Brown, because they've been together. To me, that's where I think a guy like that really gets it. And when it's all said and done, it is, you kind of get through all the glamour of recruiting. It still comes down to, what's going to happen on that field and who's going to develop me and to help me be the very best player. And he was able to see that. And to me, that's what excites me about, guys like that. And I think that's something that, throughout this class, because of it, more and more guys saw that, and they're excited about that opportunity as well.
You got 3 spots left. Are you going for positions or players to fill it?
Well, I think at this point right now, it's players. There's some position specific, but and at the same time too, I mean, we don't have to fill it just to fill it either. There's opportunities for the future for current players on this team, and that's just what we have available right now. And really, what I told the staff, I mean, where we were and the numbers we could get, I said if we get a class of 20 right now, and there's going to be some that after signing day we'll have opportunities at, I'd be very happy with what we were able to accomplish, and that's exactly what we've done. And so, as the day goes on, that might change, but I think the one thing is, I'm really proud about where we're at, and the one thing is we got the right guys. That's I think throughout our process, and it is the fit. It is the guys that we want to have in the program. It's the program fits, and I think we found it.
How in a quarterback situation, you're kind of in a bind not having to bring in 2. Can you talk about Stewart and Ogle? Who evaluated them? How quickly did you have to evaluate them? And is Stewart a scholarship man?
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy is a scholarship. Signed it today. No, he had it a while ago. We celebrated it today, but no, he's a scholarship guy, and one we were able to evaluate it because of the program he's from. All right, and being familiar with that, and I'm talking Tommy in particular. Myself, Mike, really put time into the quarterbacks and studying it. I think, Mike did majority of the legwork, as far as just getting guys and viewing them and getting out there and seeing them. Watching Alex on tape, and trying to find some of the things that we were looking for. We were trying to find a guy that had a little bit of size to him, a guy that, we could develop that had a good release, good arm, a guy that had some mass to him, 200-plus pounds, and in the high school player, and that's what you see with Alex. Tommy is a guy that all he does is win. I mean, since he's been a young guy, he's played basketball, baseball, football, and he hasn't lost more than 2 games in any sport in a season. So he's won. I mean, you just look at it, and a guy that's probably overlooked and goes to Butte, and we know some things about that place, and goes in there and again just continues to win and do things. And a guy that could come in here mid-year and come be a part of spring ball. And in the circumstances, how it all worked out, one, I think that's a perfect scenario for us to have a guy in. Two, this guy's really good. And so we have him in here as well to help us through our install in spring. Grant, Tommy, Finley, those guys to be in here as you put in a new system. You need guys back there, and you need multiple quarterbacks to get that done because you're trying to get reps in there, and those guys will continue to compete through spring. But at the same time, we're excited about Tommy and what he can bring to the table.
Last month you had said one of your main areas or goals, I guess, positions was the up front on the lines, and I think depending on what's official, 8 or 9 of your 20 guys, I guess, are linemen. What was it about wanting to shore up the offensive defensive line?
Yeah, well, that's the O-line position, still, if you're talking numbers, still needs to grow. If you're just talking overall scholarship numbers. And so that was one. As you look at the future and the guys you're going to lose, and who you're going to bring in to replace them and develop them, got a couple guys that are guards. Troy is Bacon's one that's going to also play as a guard but plays center for us. And you got Jaron and Andres, that both those guys are tackle-type bodies, that can move real well and can also bounce down inside. And then the D-line, I mean, that was one area that was extremely important for us to get the numbers there that we needed and to get the type of players we needed. We feel good about the guys that are coming back, but as far as the total numbers and the way teams play now, with the no huddles and spreads, you're rotating 4 guys, every 4 or 5 plays. So you got to have some depth at those positions. And I thought Coach Caldwell, Coach Avalos, transitioning from the D-line position to the linebacker position really helped. Coach Caldwell out, getting started, and then that was those 2 areas, and really it was quarterback, D-line, and O-line were kind of the top 3 areas right there that we, as far as just a need base, we had to go out there and make sure that we had the right guys. And so we targeted that early on and did a good job in those areas. And I feel good about where we are on the O-line. I feel good about where we are on the D-line, as of right now.
Talking with a couple of your tight end commits, over the last couple of years, the tight end involvement or role has changed a little bit, but they feel like they're going to be heavily involved in the near future. How are you able to get a guy like Chase to come here?
Yeah. Well, both those guys are big dudes now. Chase is about 240 pounds, and David Lucero is about 220. David's about 6'5", Chase about 6'4" and a half. I mean, those guys are both, large men and are going to get big, and they can run. And you watch their tape too; they're both physical. And to me, that's one position that I think, in the past and what I've believed in offensively has been a very valuable position for us. Has done a lot of things with our movements, with being multiple in where we put them, and also being guys that on the line of scrimmage and in the pass game have been very effective for us. And to me, just with our style and how we play and what we want to do offensively, we got to have those positions. And those 2 guys are really good. And the current tight ends we have right now are going to be more involved, and you're going to see more of them out there on the field in different positions doing different things, because it's something that we feel like it gives us an advantage, and we needed to bring a couple more in so we can keep doing that. You're going to play with 2-3 guys at a time sometimes during a game. you need to make sure you've got some guys back in there too that can fill those spots if someone gets dinged, or you're developing guys for the future. And those two guys, on top of being really good athletically, I mean, those are two, of my favorite guys. Just being around them, they're just, and that's kind of the tight end personality. They just get it. They're kind of the glue between everybody out there because of what they do, and especially in our system. And so I think when you go back and you show them some things that we have done with those guys in the past and what we want to do, and then you add Sanford in here, coming from Stanford, and they've utilized that position in a multiple ways as well. I think for a tight end, you look at it and go, that's about as good as it gets, as far as me being a player and being able to utilize, my skills.
This is the guy that came over from, or he decided to come here after being committed to the University of Washington. It seemed like that there was obviously a unique circumstance, maybe I guess you could describe it as, just because, there's a lot of guys that were here before.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just if you could just talk about how that was probably a battle for everybody.
Well, it was a battle. Yeah, this whole thing's a battle. I mean, there's other schools that, with all these guys that you're competing against, and the best way to answer that is we worry about us. That's it. And we have a product here, and we have a program beyond football that we're able to lay on the table for these guys to say, is this what you want to be a part of? On top of, all right, now you've got these guys on staff here that are excited to be here, have a lot of energy, and want to coach these guys, and really have been in their lives for 31 days. But those 31 days have made a lot of ground. And so I think, to me, for every one of these guys, and no matter who was here before, you still have to build those relationships. You still have to do that. And the bottom line is, it's still got to fit, for us as well. And that's just how it is. I mean, we have to go out and make sure we get the kind of guys that we feel like are going to work best for us, whether they're here before or not. And, so like I said, I think Coach Drink went in there and did exactly what he needed to do, and told him where he fits, how he fits, how successful he'll be from the type of program we have academically, and you let those guys make decisions that way. And to me, this was one that he felt very strongly about, so we did a really good job on getting him here and making him, and also being an in-state guy. That's extremely important. We make no bones about it. I mean, if we got guys here that can help us win championships, then we want this to be the program that is their dream school. All right, for all of our local players, that when they get through high school or they're growing up, Boise State. And I always ask guys when I start recruiting them, do you have a dream school? Well, when it's here in the state here, I want those guys' answer to be Boise State. All right, and that to me says a lot about where we are right now, with getting Chase here and getting Keikoa here. That's a good start for us.
Were you surprised at all how many guys Pete came after in this class, and was that awkward to be going head-to-head with him for so many guys in this class?
Yeah, just part of recruiting. I mean, that's the best answer. I mean, yeah, is it awkward because most of the staff and all that? It can be. I think what we did is tried to take the whole emotional part out of it, out of the whole situation, and just focus on what we had to do. And not get into a battle, a personal battle, or a competition like that. It's, hey, this is who we are, this is what we have, and these are the guys, and I think we have a great product here that we can show these guys and sell to them, and that's all that mattered. And I also think this too. I think the guys that we're targeting, because I think in the media and all that, I think there's a perception of where the targets are going or where the battle's at, and the reality of it is the target's here. And we're right in the mix, So some of the perception, I think, of what the battles were or what was happening wasn't reality, in the direction we were going and what we're trying to accomplish.
Did you not want to keep all those guys? Is that what you're saying?
No.
You necessarily want all those guys?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that at the same time, learning this and coming to and doing this for the second year in a row, coming into a program where there's already players there, you also have to get to know them. You also have to go through that process, and I think for us, we had targets. We identified certain characteristics and things that we wanted for what we were going to do, and on this list right here are the guys that we feel like fit those.
Or, with such a short amount of time, it can get frustrating at some point to be like, here's our 12th guy. Oh, wait, now we're back to 11.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you have the time crunch in there as well. But, it really doesn't change because all those things happen whether you're recruiting a guy for a year or 2 years. I mean, it comes down to still in that December, January time frame when you're out there and you have contact, because these guys are, you got to go out there and hopefully you've established something, during a period of time. But things still change.
You didn't bring a single Arkansas State commit with you here.
No.
Was there anybody you went after? Did you intentionally not do that? Or?
No. Well, I'll say that, yeah, in some degree. I mean, there were some guys there that we felt were good players, but none of them, and we didn't target, any of those guys there. But we felt like they were good players.
What's the biggest difference between recruiting the Boise State and recruiting the Arkansas State?
Well, there's quite a bit. I think the one thing for me personally is I didn't need to get the lay of the land or somebody come tell me about the history of the program. I think that was the easiest part of it. From day one and starting picking up that phone and talking to recruits, I don't really feel like I skipped a beat from where I was when I was here to where we are now. The difference is we have this beautiful building right here. Academics have gotten extremely better, in a short amount of time and continues to grow. And so those points, just hitting home on those points there, and also the experience of, what that student athlete is going to have here is very easy for me to explain. And I also think with our staff, with so many guys being former players here or coached here before, there's not a whole lot like, well, what do we tell them about this? We know about the dorms. We know about the academics. We know about the people. We know about the crowd. We know about the tradition and the winning. And that was a lot easier to pick up on that and get right into it a lot faster than it was at Arkansas State, where you're trying to figure out, all the little things that these guys need to know, and you don't know them. Where do you go? What's it called where they live, so on and so forth. And I also think that, a big difference here in Arkansas State, they'd won championships and had some very good coaches there, so they had a name, and that was something that we were able to use there in the recruiting process here, with the program's history and what it's accomplished, and the type of support it has, and it's been shown, with the type of facilities that we've been able to build here. That's a big difference, because it shows support. Yeah, no, they're good players. I think it's different. Here's the one thing. You go from, I went from, California area, West Coast, to Texas, where you're only in Texas, to, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. All which is, that was completely different. So you're in different areas, is where you are, and every place you're going to get good players. There's good players out there. I just think it's different. It is, in your little region there of kind of what you're targeting, and it helps you out. And the one thing about it now, because of that, you got Xavier Hoxie. You got some guys in those areas now. And I'd say for Boise State, because of where guys have been and where we are now, our coverage in the recruiting areas has gotten a lot larger. Are we there as much? Maybe not, but now the connections made in a Georgia or an Arkansas, or a Mississippi is a lot different than it was before. Obviously, Texas, California are big for us too, but that's going to help us in the future.
Back to the D-line for a second. You brought in a couple of JUCO guys. I mean, I think at least one of them only has 2 years to play 2 years. I mean, do you see those JUCO guys on the D-line having a chance to be impact guys? And also with Derek Bowles, it didn't seem like he was getting a lot of other D1 interest, but you watch his tape and he's in the backfield every play. I mean,
Yeah.
How did you guys find Derek Bowles, and what intrigued you about him?
Yeah, just grinding tape. You're looking for interior guys. A little bit of that Arkansas State connection. Of also, having a Florida connection there as well. Antoine, being from Lakeland, you have information, from those areas. And so it's about those relationships and those type of connections that you have where Derek Bowles comes from. and he's a very good player. You know, he's a guy exactly what you saw on tape is exactly what we saw. A big guy that's inside that can come off the ball, has got quickness, and can still put size on and keep his speed. You know, is exactly what you're looking for. These JUCO guys coming in, yeah, we expect those guys to help us. You know, we expect those guys to play, and they expect to come here and play as well. So that's just an area that you know, was a need. It's an area that you got to have depth. And it's an area that we needed to have some junior college players that we think are very good and can come in here and help us right away.
Do you expect all these guys to show up in August? Will anybody Grayshirt and Kakoa, is he planning on going on a mission?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he'll be on he's planning on a mission there. As far, you know, now those things change. As far as gray shirts and all that, no. No, we expect all these guys to be in here in the summer, expect these guys to be in here in fall camp and ready to roll.
So you still figure you've got 3 more scholarships that aren't filled right now without having a gray shirt anybody?
Right, right. Assuming that everything goes the way that, you know, guys can change their minds and things like that too, if that's just something that KCOA decides to do.
When you look at who you've signed, is there a position that you feel like maybe we need a couple more guys at, or you'd like to add to?
I think the areas we can add to is in the defensive backfield. You know, at the corner position and the wide receiver position could be 2 areas that we could add to in the future there. And then, you know, depending, you know, how the day finishes out and all that, will kind of determine, you know, what that next position would be. But the one thing I know, you know, in the next, you know, few days, you know, after signing day and, you know, kind of going back to, you know, what happened to us at Arkansas State, we signed a player about March, which ended up being a guy that started for us. And really, you know, quite frankly, one of our best players. And so things happen. That's just how the process is. It's not always perfect. It's not what everybody thinks it is. And, you know, so as we go, like today is the first day. It's the first day to sign. It's not the last day. And so we'll continue to recruit towards this class. We'll continue to move forward in the 2015 class, and then, you know, 2016 becomes part of that as well. So you just, now that I think we have a chance to kind of get established with areas and what we'll do recruiting-wise, that's going to help us, and we can get ahead a little bit now and not be in the same situation we've been in.
Run 2 areas this year, or did you just?
No, we just went. No, we did. We kind of have areas right now. We're not finalized, but it was just go. You know, and that was kind of part of it. And, you know, I wouldn't say we had the best flight prices and things like that because of what we had to do, but, you know, that's just part of the deal. And, you know, to be honest with you, 2 years of this, you know, I'm done with that. So, you know, I want to get in there and have a chance to get established. And maybe I've done it for 2 years now. We'll probably just start recruiting in December next year anyways. So, but, you know, it is what it is. And that's the nice thing about it is the guys on staff know how to recruit. They're into it, and so you don't have to micromanage and give a lot of direction. It's just, this is what we need, go, and guys are out there doing what they needed to do to get it done, and did a great job.
Out of the 20 guys, how many did you actually get to go to a home visit with?
Well, none of the 4 that are here.